Hey guys, this is Steve from CyberDoc. Today I'm just gonna show you how to replace the screen digitizer on the iPhone 5. First off, you want to remove the two pentalobe screw on the bottom right here. And we have this amazing product, this magnet for the screws, so where you don't lose them when you disassemble them. Actually, it's waterproof, it's magnetized. I already took off the two pentalobe screw on the bottom, as you can see right here. And it stays on it pretty good. It doesn't slide off, even if you move the magnet. Alright, let's continue. For the iPhone 5, they designed it almost like the 3GS, where it's you remove the screen from the front, instead of comparing to the iPhone 4 and 4S, where you have to take off the back and take off everything. So first, I also have this pry tool. I find it very useful from iSesamo. You can also find this on Amazon or on our website at cyberdocllc.com. So at first glance, you kind of want to get the pry tool in between the rubber and the aluminum shell. So that's pry it open. When you do this, you gotta try and be careful not to go too deep to damage the wiring on the bottom or anything. And when you after you got it open, you're gonna have to try and keep it at an angle so it doesn't rip off the connectors or the ribbon cables on the top. Alright, now you get your Phillips screws. There's 3 screws holding the metal panel for the connectors, so let's do that. I have this position tweezer to remove the panel. Just be gentle, you don't want to damage anything on the bottom. Set that aside. And we usually prefer to use a plastic pry tool to remove the connectors, solely because you don't want to short anything while you're removing the connectors. And there's 3 connectors for the screen. There's one, that's for the LCD, this is for the digitizer, and for the light sensor and proxy sensor. Alright, now you got it. For this video, we also gonna remove the proxy sensor and the home button, because the screen we ordered, it did not come with any of it. So let's do that. For this, the magnet also is very useful. I also point out all the screws that it requires to take it off, to take off the light sensor and the home button. And this whole piece should come off relatively easy because of the little glue. Set that aside. And the proxy sensor. Now let's remove the screws on the side. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the side of the frame to hold the sensor in place. And there's also one on the bottom right here. After you've taken that off, the whole thing should come apart pretty easily. You're gonna try and remove this as gentle as possible. It's just held together by glue. You're gonna try and keep the glue on so we can reuse it. Otherwise, if you have any double-sided tape, it will work as well. Alright, let's set the old screen aside for a second before we remove the home button. Let's put this on. You want to rip off the plastic piece. Place this back on. You're gonna want to match the proxy sensor right on the hole where it's supposed to be. Otherwise, your proxy meter might not work. Didn't come off as side. You're gonna want to get this plastic piece in as well, which the screen didn't come with any of this. Okay, so let's get the camera in. Make sure it sticks. Camera in its place. Speaker. Okay. If that is in, you want to put the rest of them back on. off. Alright, so let's put the metal shelving back on. Relatively easy. Those screws on the sides first. And the last one on the bottom. Alright, now once the metal casing is back in, you want to put the proxy sensor back on. Lock it in place. And the casing. Hold them together. And now I have successfully transferred the proxy sensor and the speaker from camera from the old screen to the new. And now the home button. Home button, there's a bunch of sticker right under it after these two screws. So let's go ahead and remove these two screws. Remove the metal plating. And the home buttons basically stick onto the board, the screen. It's held together by glue, so be careful when you try and remove this. You don't want to damage it if your new screen doesn't come with one. So that's pretty good. And you also want the button itself. So this whole thing is held by this rubber piece glued onto this LCD screen. So you kind of want to remove it a little bit by a little bit. And if your screen is shattered like mine, be careful about glass shards. Okay. Coming off pretty easily. Alright. A little dirty right here. Just clip it off. And little pieces of glass. Alright, so I'm gonna put it back, center it, And just press down for the glue to glue it back up. And you want to match the plate to the holes and just glue the little sensor back down. And after you put on these 2 screws, you're done transferring the home button and the light sensor front camera to the new screen. From then on, it's a breeze. Alright, and we have no use for the old screen anymore. Garbage. And back to the board. At any time when you're trying to change any screen on any iPhones or iPads or iPods, you gotta make sure do not touch the power button if you're too lazy like me to disconnect the battery from the main board. So just be careful. You might short it some backlight chip or filters in the back. Alright, we're gonna try and put these 3 connectors back in, and remember these ribbon cable are made relatively short, so you need to keep it at an angle where you don't break the ribbon or anything. So let's put the first one back on. Let's take this off. No need for that anymore. And be gentle when you're trying to press the connector back into its place. But you want to make sure it's all the way in. And that should do it. And now we need to put the metal plate back on. On the side there's a little clip that you want to click it back in. Match the holes. Take the screws. Alright, and when you're closing the phone, make sure you got the top. It has 2 plastic clips right on top right here. You want to make sure the clips goes in all the way in before you start pressing the phone down. So let's get that as close as possible to the aluminum casing. And when you're pressing it down, you want to distribute all the weight at the same time on all parts at this, so you won't crack the glass or anything. Since there's a little gap, so we didn't put it in enough. Let's see. And snap back in. looks okay. Alright. And there it is. Thank you guys for watching. We'll put on more videos about the 5C and 5S as soon as we can. Hey. Peace out.